Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our meeting. Today is November the 6th, 2019. Good to see everyone. We have an agenda we passed out ahead of time. You should have it in your packet with you. And we do have a quorum. So we will move through our consent agenda items first, which the first one is to approve the minutes of the meeting of August 14th, believe it or not, since we last met 2019. And we have a motion to approve those.
Yes.
We have a motion, you have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Thomas. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. We also have a motion to approve the financial statements, which are in your packet. Paul is not here, but I think the items are fairly self-explanatory. We're about to enter Christmas season here because all the money starts rolling in very shortly, so we're all excited upstairs. So anyway, motion to approve the financials? Motion by Eliza. Any seconds?
Second.
Second by Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Public forum. Anybody would like to say anything? You have 3 minutes, or forever hold your peace. Anybody? You may talk as long as you want, honestly. Anybody have anything? We can always circle back to it if you have some as we go through the agenda. All right, let's get on to something that we're all concerned with. Tell us about the renewal process. Is that you, Terry?
Yeah, so we're going to give an update on that. First of all, I just want to thank all the people that have been part of the committee, have done just an outstanding job, and we've really made a lot of progress. But we wanted to kind of recap the process that we've gone through, because I think, one, it's important for Jake and Steve to know as we move through hopefully the council process, that the amount of outreach and the actual pretty positive response that we've gotten. So we started by convening a committee and organized them into roles, and then developed an action plan of how we would go about trying to roll out the petition. That included creating a mailing and a video, and then our strategy was to hold outreach meetings for everyone to have the opportunity that if they had questions, that they could meet with us and get more detailed information about a district. We didn't make the assumption that everyone knew what a district was or what this management district is, because we found that there were a fair number of new property owners that had bought property since this district was created. So on the screen now is the letter that went out, signed by Jim, and then the actual petition. And the petition has the wording that the city provided us for the petition, all the information of the property owner, and then the amount of their assessed value, their levy fee, and the percent of their fee as a total of the whole levy. And then the brochure we thought was really informative. So it talks about, if you look at the next slide, the establishment of the district, what is a management district, what are some of the peer districts that are nearby from our kind of peer cities, the history of this district, who it's governed by and how, next. Then some of our achievements, and then the return on investment of how the levy has grown since it was established, and then kind of the street level occupancy, next. And then some of our additional programs, property improvement grants, and then we talk about what is proposed for this year, the programs, and then the budget. And then we had an analysis of each of the payer groups. So the overall, we needed to get 484 signatures. That's the total number of payers. And then what the, I think, I can't, oh, here, let me read it. It says number of payers, percent of total payers, levy paid, and then percent of total levy. We did that for overall, then by class. So by commercial property, residential property, and multifamily property. Those are the three classes. The interesting thing is, just to give you a sense of scale, the median levy for all payers is $325. For commercial properties, oh, I'm sorry, 125. For commercial properties, it's 325. For residential properties, it's 250. And then for the multi-family properties, it's a little bit higher at 600. But for most of the payers, the majority of the payers don't actually feel a real burden if you think about that. Sometimes I put it in the, I use the phrase, it's more expensive for you to belong to the YMCA than to pay into the levy, and think about that as affordability. So anyway, so that gave all the people received this to every payer, and so it gave them a lot of information about what the district is, what we're asking from them, and how they compare to other payers in the district. Okay, next. Then we also have made a video so that if people, as we met with folks, if they really wanted a more in-depth analysis of kind of what this is and what we're trying to accomplish, there was a video that was at our disposal. And so I think Ethan's going to play that.
The Downtown Lexington Management District, commonly referred to as DLMD, has been providing enhanced services to downtown's core since 2016, creating a foundation for growth and vitality and providing a return on property owners' investments. In 2020, the district will be due for renewal, and a petition process is being initiated to show support for extending the district for 5 more years. Your signature is needed on the petition, but first we want to provide information about what a management district is and what it does, and Downtown Lexington Management District's history, mission, accomplishments, and its current programs.
Management districts are private sector initiatives to manage and improve the environment of a defined area, with services provided by a self-imposed assessment. The assessment is similar to a common area maintenance charge found in office parks and shopping malls. Management districts are usually established in a downtown to help increase its competitiveness in the regional marketplace. Services provided by the management district are designed to enhance, not replace, city services. Benefits from these districts include creating and maintaining a cleaner, safer, and more attractive business district, helping to increase property values, sales, and occupancies through a better environment, through marketing and programming, ensuring stable and predictable revenues dedicated to the properties within the district, and creating a unified voice to increase a business district's influence. In short, management districts are created to make downtowns more successful and more competitive in the marketplace.
Thousands of management districts exist across the United States. Many nearby and peer cities that have successful, growing downtowns have management districts. Louisville Downtown Partnership operates Kentucky's first management district that has existed since 1991. It focuses on enhancing downtown Louisville's physical environment, including improvements to safety, maintenance, cleanliness, and marketing. Downtown Cincinnati Incorporated was founded in 1994, and similar to Louisville's district, focuses on maintaining and enhancing a safe, clean, and welcoming environment, which includes a downtown ambassador program, as well as marketing and communication. Downtown Nashville Partnership operates 2 management districts which keep downtown Nashville clean and safe. Nearby cities that are in the process of creating downtown management districts include Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Covington, Kentucky.
The Downtown Lexington Corporation, now known as the Downtown Lexington Partnership, worked on behalf of property owners to create the Downtown Lexington Management District, securing signatures from the majority of property owners who wanted a management district created. Lexington-Fayette Urban County Council passed the enabling ordinance establishing DLMD in 2015. The first levy was collected in January of 2016, and DLMD expended the first dollars later that year. In 2018, Downtown Lexington Partnership began managing the programs and services of DLMD.
The DLMD uses the property tax levy to enhance and manage the downtown physical environment and to foster economic development and downtown revitalization by providing enhanced cleaning services to create a foundation for business development, providing enhanced safety resources to address worker, visitor, and resident safety, supporting public art initiatives, economic development, and marketing and business support programs.
DLMD is governed by a 15-member board appointed by the mayor and approved by the Lexington-Fayette Urban County Council. The board includes property owners, building managers, business operators, residents, hospitality and economic development professionals, and city council members. Together, they set the priorities and determine how the dollars collected through the levy are spent in the district each year. Though created by ordinance in 2015, the Downtown Lexington Management District has only been operating for 3 years, and in its short time has made a significant positive impact on downtown and your properties on a daily basis.
Our ambassadors provide cleaning services 365 days a year, ensuring the district is clean and well kept.
Each day, the ambassadors are sweeping and power washing sidewalks and removing graffiti. Seasonally, they work on special projects, pick up leaves, and clear handicap ramps of snow.
The Downtown Lexington Management District ambassadors played an important role in helping us host the National American Bloom Symposium. Time and time again, our participants raved about the cleanliness and beauty of our downtown and the friendliness of each ambassador they encountered during their time in our town. During the final dinner, the city was given a sustained standing ovation. And we even have national board members considering a move to Lexington. This can-do helpfulness certainly isn't limited to special events. The DLMD ambassadors enrich the downtown Lexington experience 365 days a year and are always nearby to give a helpful tip and a friendly smile.
In 2018, DLMD launched a Safety Ambassador Patrol that helps keep surface parking lots safe and provides safety escorts for office workers and visitors. Since it began operation, DLMD has been focused on supporting art, businesses, and economic development in the district. Some of the projects have included art and empty storefronts, book benches, and pedway lighting improvements. In 2018, DLMD launched a new property improvement grant program that provided property owners and business operators grants to make improvements.
As a new business owner in downtown Lexington, I sought to make improvements to my bar that would make it more attractive to guests and complement the surrounding investments in Cheapside Park. The DLMD Property Improvement Grant allowed me to do a total storefront renovation that's already attracting more customers to my doorstep. The support I received from the DLMD and DLP have made a huge difference in my ability to market my business, network with like-minded colleagues, and participate in the many events that take place downtown.
In fiscal year 2019, DLMD will continue to focus efforts to keep the district clean and safe and help people invest in their properties, market downtown, and improve lighting.
We are excited about our new programs we are launching this year. We believe the programs are really going to help make a safer and brighter downtown and help drive customers to our district businesses.
The new programs include an off-duty police patrol provided by the Fayette County Sheriff Department, increasing current police presence to improve safety for owners, businesses, residents, and customers. To support the Lex Lights initiative, DLMD is offering targeted grants to light up downtown in an effort to improve safety, highlight historic architecture, and to provide a festive nighttime environment to attract customers. Property owners can apply for grants to improve building lighting. It's been 5 years since the management district was created, and it's time for us to renew and extend the operation for 5 more years. To accomplish this, the Board of Directors has begun engaging property owners through a petition drive that will show support for extending the district. They have set a goal to have more than 50% of levy-paying property owners, representing more than 50% of the district's property value, sign the petition, which would be presented to the Lexington Fayette Urban County Council requesting it extend the district.
In the short time we have launched the petition process, we have received a tremendous amount of initial support and already collected dozens of signatures of property owners representing more than $100 million worth of value as of September 15th. We are well on our way to renewing the district, but we're not there yet. We need your signature. Please review the information provided and sign the petition.
I signed because it's important to invest in our urban core.
I signed because it's important to our city.
I signed because I like the Downtown Lexington Management District, the things it does, specifically the ambassador program. My office looks out on the sidewalk and I see the purple shirts all day, and I see the good things they do.
We have long been committed to the downtown and believe in the management district. We have seen the return on investment through safer, cleaner sidewalks. The district is helping us improve the downtown core. In fact, we are nearly complete with the city center, which will help us attract more customers and businesses downtown. So it's important we stay the course and keep the momentum going. So please join me and others and sign the petition. Together, we can make this a great downtown. Thank you.
So those are our tools that we've utilized to engage the public or the property owners. And then go to the next slide. So where are we at? Our requirements, as this slide says, 50% of the assessed value. It's actually slightly more than the 484 signatures we started with, because there's a new development at Field and Main condos that was one property 5 years ago that is now the bank and 23 condos. So it's actually increased the number of payers. So that's why that 253 is now the required amount, and the value is 228 million. And then if you go to the next one, here's where we're at. So we have 170 signatures. That's again 67% towards our requirement. As it says, 83 to go. We're at 94% of the assessed value. We also have our committee working with about 35 other folks who have committed. We just have to collect the paperwork. Next. And our committee, again, has been very, very active. Can't say enough about them. They are also reaching out to about 80 other property owners who they have some sort of personal connection with or something. So we're pretty positive or confident that between the commitments we have and those 80 that we're pursuing, that will get us over the top. And we think that there's a high probability that we'll do that by Thanksgiving. But we continue then to do some public outreach meetings. We're doing that with the lofts and the Hilton condos. And then there's a couple other places that we're trying to hit. Again, where we're making ourselves available to just answer questions at one place, besides the one-on-one kind of outreach that we're doing. And so with that then, our next steps, hopefully if we are successful by Thanksgiving, is to figure out the navigation of the city council. And that's kind of our next steps.
How many times has this video been viewed, do you know?
I don't know, it's on the website. It's we use it at the meetings.
Do y'all track that?
Newsletters as well.
Yeah, it's on all the newsletters.
You don't track the actual viewings though with the video?
We could, I'd have to add them all from
Just
different
curious,
sources,
yeah.
so I'm not really sure.
And how short are we with regard to valuation?
13 million.
Well, Hilton committed yesterday on the phone, that's 34 million right there, and the Lexington Club did too. I mean, I think we've got our number. I was telling Kevin today, we want to really blow past it on both ends, to show everybody that we've got all this support. I told Terry, I'm stunned, and Beverly, bless her heart, the first time we had to wage war there, you did, Catherine, but this has been a much smoother process, guys. It really has. So it must be working. It must be working, so.
Well, I think Ethan's been tracking some things that are interesting. There are a number of people who didn't vote for the petition the first time around, who we have their vote this time. We haven't gotten any negative comments where people call and say, yeah, I'm not going to do that, or blah, 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 trying to create an issue. And if our strategy was first to kind of talk and get on board the major property owners and kind of create some momentum. But really that mailing went out October 2nd. So it's been just a month of work that's really gotten the bulk of the signatures.
Is there any way to, and I think Jake and Steve would probably both like this as well, maybe for the council, they may not. Some of those folks you were talking about that weren't for it the last time, who are for it now.
Yeah.
Is there kind of some way to capture why they've changed their mind? I mean, I think that would be good to know.
Yeah, we could probably reach out to them as a thank you. Hey, thank you for signing, blah, blah, blah. And we can do that follow-up. So we'll have a stat and then some qualitative comments or something. Yeah.
Will there be public comment when it comes up before council? A couple of those people might be nice to have.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of the question, I guess, then, if you guys can help us navigate. if, let's say, by December 1, we have this completed, what's the calendaring for the council that we should pursue?
You just passed your calendar for next year, come back.
Yeah, so the council goes on break December 7th or 9th, I haven't got the date in my head. So, not until after the first of the year.
Yeah.
And then I believe that, given that this has been before council before, that I would be in favor of just putting it back on the docket, not running it through a committee.
Yeah, I agree.
So, just when you've got the numbers, we'll start that Lucy process.
So, just to jump on one more, the one final step in that is, once you have it done, then so if you've got it done by the 1st of December, let's put that, by the time they come back, we should be able to go through that certification process and have that done in the interim.
So theoretically, late January, early February, we could have it passed by you all, assuming everything works well?
Do you remember how long the certification took? I don't. Whatever it done.
I don't.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if we can, we'll go ahead and schedule it
Yeah.
into the system for them when they get by.
Okay. Good. Well, anybody at the table that's not been part of the committee that has any help, do they have lists of who's not paid or who we haven't gotten signatures yet?
Ethan has that.
You've got that, you could.
I can send it to the full board.
Would you send it to the full board? Mark the ones that we still have open, and maybe somebody around this table has a connection or somebody that could help us get a signature too. We'll finish this up quick, I'd like to, but, and we've kind of worked our group pretty hard, and they've done well. They really have. I'm impressed, so. Anything, questions on the renewal process anybody has? We good? Okay.
We hadn't really looked at Beverly much. I mean, you've been through this twice now. Are you happier this time?
Oh, it's going much better because there are more people really committed to getting signatures. No, I think it's, but you know, I think we've gotten a lot of the easy ones. We're getting Seth Maloney today and he has 17 petitions. So a lot of what is left is just one by one by one by one. But no, I think things are going really well.
Jay?
Like I said, I think the materials look really good. Thank you, Terry, and the rest of you folks.
All right, let's move on. We'll go to the marketing update. Who's handling that?
Terry and I met, and I'll be really blunt with you all. $12,500 is not very much money to spend on any sort of genuine marketing effort. So we talked about the best way to deploy a fairly small sum of money in an attempt to have a good yield on investment. So you can see on the screen that we've come up with 2 recommendations. Approximately half of it is to boost social media. There's just, I mean, one of the things that is really important anytime you're putting together a marketing plan is the frequency with which you can continue to hit a message out to your intended audience. And so, again, with limited dollars, that's hard to do through any real mechanism other than social. So we decided that boosting posts would probably be the easiest way to get some traction, some stickiness to what we're doing on the marketing side. And then the other half would go for a 2-year update on the consumer perception survey. We did, I believe, in 2018, the very inaugural perception survey, and obviously this can continue to serve as a baseline for attitudes, feelings, concerns, limitations as it relates to downtown and what brings people downtown. And you know, all good research requires kind of a maintenance aspect to it. And so I think Terry's going to talk a little bit more about the firm that was retained in 2018 and what they would be doing in 2020. But you're looking at our recommendations at this point.
So we had a budget of $12,000 for marketing, right?
Yeah, that's a misprint, the 12.5. So it's-
Sorry.
The 2 bullets below are correct.
So when you boost social media, what is, I mean, are you boosting it for the merchants within the core, or what are we boosting?
Well, I mean, yes, you obviously have your intended audience, and so if you're trying to boost a holiday message, for example, you're just putting some money. Obviously, you can go onto your platforms, you can put together your message, you put it out there, and then when you boost, you're just augmenting that so that it has a further reach, an
Well, I
expanded reach.
understand, I just meant, what is the content? Is it for our merchants within the core, like
Right.
her, or is
Oh.
it, that's what I'm trying to,
So,
is that what we're?
we would
okay.
create that messaging based upon that. So, like, it would be, short street, bars, or, you know, we come up with what's neat is we have an army of interns, and, that are just doing this all the time, and so we would craft a marketing plan based around this, probably over a 6-month period, so that we're spending $1,000 a month.
You've already started it, right? Because I've seen all the
Well, that's
businesses
just,
highlighted.
yeah, that's just ours,
Okay.
our stuff, so
That's
it would
pretty
even get
impressive.
amplified more now with,
That's great.
with dollars behind it.
But it would be to drive people, obviously, to downtown for food, beverage, shopping.
In the survey, the purpose of it is to understand what they're thinking and what they need, what they want.
So Terry can talk,
Yeah.
he's got, I think, a few slides ready to talk about it, but the idea is that you have sort of an ongoing dialogue with your intended audiences so that you can continue, you can inform your, if we find, right, like if we find that we've got a real, hurdle as it relates to parking, then we can craft messaging that says, look how many places there are to park downtown. So that your marketing strategy is basically driven totally out of the research results that you find and the end goals that you're trying to achieve.
And we do have some slides on it, because this is something, again, that was done 2 years ago, but there are a number of board members that weren't here when we did it, so I want to make sure that they understand it. 2 years ago, we split the cost between DLP and DLMD down the middle, 50-50. We're only asking $6,000 this year out of the 20 that's needed. But I'll go through some things, because what's important is it does a couple things. The survey is divided into 2 things. There's a 7-county metro area resident survey, and then we also did, which is scientific, I think a plus or minus 6% variation. And then we did a survey that's not scientific, that is surveying the downtown businesses of what they think is going on. So the first thing that we're going to go through is that. Go ahead. And so this is the downtown stakeholder. So we asked them, did your sales increase over the last year? How is the management of the district of downtown going? What new initiatives would you like to see? And how do you do your marketing or receive your messaging? So go through some of this. This is just charts that show who was surveyed as the downtown stakeholder. Next. Did your sales increase? So we were able to get a barometer reading that I think it's 86% either increased or stayed the same, which is really positive. So we want to now see 2 years later, how's that doing? Okay. Then we asked, this is an important perspective for the management district. We asked them how we're doing on a number of metrics, and if you're in the upper right hand, that means it's important to them and you're doing well. If it's below, it's important to them, but we're not doing well. And so it gives you a barometer of the services you're providing as a district. Go ahead. That's what all these are. Keep going on that, on that, on that. And then it says, okay, downtown stakeholders, what do you want to see us do? Well, improving parking, and look at the second thing, improve lighting. That helped inform us that, hey, this should be an important program we should pursue, and so on and so forth. How do they get their, where do they spend their dollars marketing? Social media. So that's the most cost-effective way for them to reach their audience. Okay. That's how they promote their business. We ask them what's missing, so we know, if we should be helping with some things. Okay. Now we go to the local customer survey. Again, this is the 7-county area. Go ahead. And again, plus or minus 6% the company we use also did the top 50 metro downtowns across the country in 2010. So it does give us some comparative things. The other thing that this is real helpful for is this is used in the state of downtown. And so creating the trend, so we have a baseline, so creating a trend line so we know how we're doing is helpful. Okay. Demographic information, really helpful so we know kind of who the downtown user is, so we can focus our message. It also helps us from selling downtown so people know what the downtown customer is, and they have generally a high disposable income, as you can see there. And then have you visited downtown in the last 6 months? Really an important barometer reading. So when we did it in 2018, 80% of the local 7-county resident had visited downtown in the previous 6 months. If you look at the second line, that's 29.7 times on average, and that means about once per week. It shows how downtown is a real attractor for the local resident. And then this is their average spending. And then their primary reason for coming downtown. Go ahead. And then when asked to reply to a list, these are what they cited as the reasons they come downtown. So again, it helps us figure out why people come downtown, how we should target our messaging. Okay. And then attitudes towards downtown. What do we have to do? Do we need to make any adjustments? So we want to update that to see if there's anything happening. And then what do they like to see as new initiatives? Number one, improve lighting, the safety ambassadors. And then this is how they get their information, and we divide it in by age groups. Okay, I think that's really about it. One more. Yeah, so again, 2018, it was 10 and 10. This time, we're asking the DLMD to provide 6,000. DLP will provide 11.5, and then Mary Quinn has been very generous and is going to put in 2,500. So it's a good partnership, and so that's how we're recommending that we spend the $12,000.
So, as you were going through the slides, and especially the ones, what brings you downtown? So the biggest chunk was obviously the dining. I don't think that's a huge surprise from the special events. Is there any way to pull out of that data? So I came down to have dinner. What would have kept me downtown to go to B or C?
So we do kind of have that information. This is a simplified thing. So one of the questions is, did you combine your visit with something else? So we do have that data. I didn't say, did they spend more time downtown, but we did have in the second slide, on average, they spent 144 minutes in downtown. Yeah. Do we need a motion or just?
So I think this is just well, I guess you're asking for money, so, and it's within our budget, but it wouldn't, does anybody want to put a motion on to, we have a $12,000 budget. The proposal is to split it the way they've
Can
heard.
I ask one more question?
Yes.
Before we do that? Was there anything, I mean, I know this is kind of step one, baby steps, but was there anything, as far as you're kind of the expert in the room, anything missing that was some low-hanging fruit that wasn't terribly expensive if there was a little bit more money? Or is it better to do this and then really?
I mean, I just can't emphasize how little $12,000 really is in the world of marketing. I mean, there's just nothing.
So I would make the motion to approve this, and as they get into it, maybe if something glaring comes out, we can take a look at where additional, but I would make the motion to approve this.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Thomas. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, there's your $12,000. All right, speaking of money, let's go on to the property improvement grant updates.
Sure.
Sure, just a very brief update on the property improvement grant program. Since we started the program, there's been 10 projects, 53,500 in grants, and that's leveraged 592,000 in project value. The biggest chunk of that coming from Brule's investment, which is a really substantial improvements inside that building. Accounts for about 250,000 of that. However, even taking out that one single large project, that's still quite a bit of property improvements that the grants are leveraging and supporting. Some of the new ones, since we've had 2 grant review meetings over the last couple months, and so Brule is getting ready to open on Short Street. The Commonwealth Building was approved for a grant to improve the facade and the windows that will make it a little easier to lease for retail. Right now it's former probation office, so it's kind of closed off and intentionally made to where it's not inviting. Bourbon on Rye had another application in that was partnered with the Lex Lights grants that Beverly will talk about in a minute for a new sign on their building. And then Ethereal Brewing, who purchased the property at the corner of Vine and Limestone across from City Center, has also received a grant for painting and doing some facade improvements there, which are very much needed. It's kind of interesting, Woodford's not here, but to see a lot of the investment that people are making in the properties around City Center now that it's opening, so it's exciting to see some of these large projects have some spin-off and some of the smaller ones where people are building up around them. Just a few images. There's Relay still under construction, but very close to opening. Working very hard, so the construction trucks are right out front where we were trying to take a picture. That's all right. The Commonwealth Building, they've not started work yet, but that gives you a little bit of an idea of the entrance now. And basically, they like to widen the windows and make it more transparent into the property, more suitable for retail on this side.
Sorry, have they got a business interest in there, or are they?
They've been
just
talking
doing
with
it?
people. I don't believe they've had a lease yet.
Okay.
And so hopefully this will help, the improvements will help them lease the property as well. And then this is the Ethereal Brewing property I mentioned, which would be looking at some additional signage as well as painting the building and cleaning it up and fixing some of the awning and different pieces of the facade, which is one of the oldest commercial buildings in downtown as well, so that's exciting to see. So moving forward, we're looking at doing the reviews a little bit differently. We have our review committee made up of the advisory board and some people from this board as well that have met, I guess, as we've had projects come in. But we're going to have a standing meeting every month, and so if we have something, then we can review them just to help us manage that a little bit better. And hopefully we'll continue this through the next year.
So was the 53,000 number I saw earlier on the screen, that's spent for this fiscal tax year to date?
So that is for the program as a whole, and that's encumbered. So some of that has been paid out, some are projects underway.
Okay.
The way that we do this is once all the projects are completed, then they'll submit an invoice to us showing that they paid their contractors and have closed the project out. We'll take a look to make sure they did what they said they were going to do in the grant, and then we reimburse. And so it comes on the back end of it. And so for example, Relay, I believe, had a $7,500 grant, and they actually there's maybe 10,000, but they won't get that reimbursement until a few weeks whenever they close out the project, even though they received the grant back in the 9 months ago, probably.
Right. I was just wondering because I think we budgeted 70,000 for this current year, and I was just wondering where we stood with relative to that number versus the 70.
So we've only spent about 10,000 of that so far.
Okay. All right.
Just, could we?
Or encumbered, excuse me.
Yeah. And could we, the next time, because I think this is a really good program. Could we do a short presentation next time? Because I like these pictures, but it would be nice to see the ones that are complete, the before and after.
Before and after, yeah.
So just kind of roll through them so that
Yeah.
everybody can see and kind of what the partnership amounts were in there.
And by our next meeting, we should have 2 or 3 projects that have closed out and finalized, so it'll be some good images at that point as well.
And I'll tell you this, I don't know, Steve and Jake, what you think. You think these visuals would be good in front of the council before and after? What do y'all think? Or is that too much for, on a petition to recertify? You think, see some of the things we've done, or you think that we don't need all that?
I don't know. I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. I'm not sure that the action on recertification has to depend on making another case for the use. You've got, that's just for support, showing support.
Right,
need.
I just thought sometimes it's good to see your tax dollars go, but yeah, it's what, I defer to you all, it's
We
you
can-
all's, whatever. You okay?
If we
'Cause
do anything, I want to emphasize clean and safe. I think that will
Clean and safe.
get to the council better than this.
But I'm kinda like Kevin, I think this is powerful. Images are great, if you can show the before and after, I think it'll be strong. Okay, we'll just confine it to here.
We could have like one slide or something.
Right. Any other updates we need for property improvement grants? Ethan?
That's all for
You got
property
it?
improvement.
Anybody need questions from anybody? Okay. Lex Lights, my favorite subject. What are we,
Oh,
what are we
yes.
talking about?
Okay, I will just talk about the most recent things that have happened. A lot of the easy, low-hanging fruit has been done. It's pointing out to property owners where they have fixtures that are broken or the lights are burned out or whatever. We continue to do that, but that we've reached a lot of people and it makes a big difference. So, most recently, the Herald Leader had a nice story on Sunday with a picture of the Adams and Morford building. They just, last month added the LED lights with that color changing capability, and it looks so good, yeah. Last week, Randy Walker began work on the two pedways over Broadway to install the artistic lighting on those, and this lighting is designed really to be viewed from the street. It's not totally for safety or, ease of walking through the pedways. So that, I don't know, probably it'll take about 3 weeks to get that finished. So those two big pedway projects. UK is interested in strengthening the connection between the campus and downtown. So this is just the first step in that direction. Thomas and Ethan and I are meeting with Dean Vernon this afternoon, who's the Dean of the UK Architecture School, just for an initial conversation to see if that connection down Limestone, basically between Maxwell and Vine, could be strengthened, and that would be lighting it in some way. There are street lights all the way down the left side of Limestone for those 2 or 3 blocks. But I think we need something that's not just lighting on that little section of Limestone, but maybe something down at the end, like on the back of the Community Trust building, or even in Phoenix Park, that would be, I don't know, something eye-catching that would make the distance seem smaller and attract students downtown. So that's just, we're just starting on that. We're working on possible new lighting for the Fifth Third Pavilion. We've had three proposals, lighting proposals, and those are being reviewed by Monica Conrad, who's the acting, Commissioner of Parks and Rec, and Chris Cooper Ryder and others in Parks and Recreation. So when they make a decision of which of these lighting proposals for the Fifth Third Pavilion, then we will start thinking about and talking about where the money will that pavilion was built, it opened about 9 years ago, and the lighting that's there now, gosh, in 9 years, we're light years away today from what can be done with lighting, compared to what is in there now. So there are about, I would say, about 6 other projects in the works downtown. Some of them are going to be, a couple of them are going to be very eye-catching. I've had several conversations with Kip Cornett, who's head of the Breeders' Cup festivities, and they're interested in some kind of lighting for the festivities leading up to Breeders' Cup, which will be like the end of October, 1st of November, that last weekend. So I got in contact with some people at the Blink Festival, which is the big lighting festival in downtown Cincinnati 2 weekends ago. Well, lo and behold, who should I be talking to, unbeknownst to me at the beginning, was Steve McGowan, who was the founder of Blink. Oh, so yes, he and his partner, Brave Berlin, the company that did a lot of fancy lighting, are coming down. We just have to find a time when we can set up a meeting to look around downtown and see where there might be a couple of buildings where we might do some fancy lighting for Breeders' Cup. This is not going to be Blink South, and I told him that we, don't have a lot of money, so what can we do to get a big impact with a small amount of money? And he said, we will think about that. So, that's kind of where we are right now. There are other projects, I've been surprised that it really takes time to talk to people and give them ideas and them to figure out where they're gonna pay for these lighting projects. So with Breeders' Cup coming up, I think we have started to tell people, if you're going to do a lighting project, let's have it done by Breeders' Cup. And that gives us a deadline. And, a deadline is good to make you focus. Just one last thing, we had, at the beginning of the fiscal year, $22,500 to make grants for lighting projects. And I cannot tell you how just a little bit of money is an incentive to get people to do something. So we have had we've given 5 grants: McAdams and Morford, Ryan Foster's Court Square, the Esplanade Building, Bess Bennett's Building, Bourbon on Rye, and Christ Church Cathedral, because they want to do some lighting on their church tower. So that's about $17,000. So we have about $5,000 left. But that $17,000 has leveraged $76,000 in lighting projects. So, and James Hirsch got, I don't know if that was a lighting grant or a property improvement grant.
That was a mix,
It was a
so
lighting
half
grant
funded for
for
lighting,
his
half-
sign that he's going to put up there at Bourbon on Rye. So, yeah, I think it's all going well.
We budgeted $12,500 from this board, and does DLP have a budget for lighting?
There's a donation that was made for lighting.
That's right.
Of $10,000,
$10,000.
and that's where the 22.5 comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've used all of that but 5,000, and we've really gotten good results.
Yeah, we really have, and I'm a big believer in this lighting project. I think for the dollars and what we leverage, we get great value and benefit. And so I would like for us to entertain maybe next year, the first of the year, January, whenever we meet again, we need to talk about that. by the time we start rolling in with our major revenue streams, if we may want to relook at funding issues for this particular line item, but let's kind of wait and see what kind of money we have. If you saw in the financials, we picked up some monies from the year before that had got inadvertently not billed to taxpayers into about $28,000. We received that last week or so. So that was not found money, but you could call it that if you want. Having said that, unless somebody has other thoughts, I thought we might come back first of the year and look at this and see if we want to refund some of these projects, because this money goes quickly, but the leverage is huge.
I know.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes a big impact. You know, a lot of people that we have spoken to, a lot of these property owners don't know that their lights are burned out on the front of the building, or they haven't been downtown. But if you come downtown, honestly, you're beginning to see that it's lighter, brighter, more attractive. You know, this, actually, this building that we're in, could use some lighting.
I don't own it, don't look at me. I got it, I agree with you, I agree with
You
you.
know?
Anything I can do to help you, I agree
Okay.
with you, absolutely.
I like your idea. Could we look at maybe dividing that, since it's broke down
Mhm.
to the last two things we've been talking about, because it looks like a good use of that money would be additional into the marketing effort as well. And just kind of put a focus there and see how that would look and the next time we get together. maybe talk
I think that's
about
fine. The only thing, and I was gonna tell you anyway, that the sheriff's office, we're averaging a burn rate of about 7,000 a month for that added security. I personally think it's worthwhile. The visibility of them has been markedly improved. I think all of us have seen their uniforms out around, but we're still burning that money. But having said that, we budgeted, what, 50? And so we're about 28,000 into that money with the sheriff. And as we get into those winter months, that will go back because we don't have as many folks out and about. So the need for as many off-duty folks or that Kathy has. So, but I think we ought to come back and talk about these last two. I agree with you, absolutely. So we'll do that unless anybody's got a strong objection. Any other questions on Lex Light by anybody? All right, board member terms. Kevin, is this something I don't know exactly what we're talking about here, but tell me what we want to discuss here. I know you and I have had some.
I didn't put it on here.
I didn't either. So you want to just, we had some folks rolling off at one of our meetings, and I think that you and I have talked, we've got that worked out, and we have the members that terms were expiring were Lisa, Lawrence, and who was it? Was it Jay?
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking
We do
about?
have a problem. There was an appointment incorrectly made, and
That's
that
what it was.
Lawrence's appointment.
Yes.
As chair of the DLC, which he's not. We've had an email issue that I think Melissa told me you all have gotten worked out. Is that?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, and then the other issue was, as some have looked at the appointment schedules, they were concerned that they weren't four-year appointments. They actually are four-year appointments. It's not just, if somebody was appointed today, it may be a four-year appointment even if it expires in 3 years, because it depends on what block it was appointed in. So if the appointment was a little bit late being made for any reason, then it's still filling that block. So it fills the four-year block to keep the appointment schedule on boards like this in their natural cycle. So
Okay.
Melissa and I went over that after our conversation the last couple of days, and she's double-checked, and with the exception of Lawrence's appointment as a DLC member, which we're gonna need to correct, everything else is accurate.
Okay. Anything else on board terms? David, you want to bring us up to date? You've got some pictures here.
Short and sweet.
All right.
Like you said, the pictures say a lot. So this report, I just added a lot of pictures from the past year of what we've been doing. And other than our numbers, the only thing that's probably jump out more is the amount of litter for this past month. A lot of that comes from into the constructions that's going on in a lot of spots. So there's been a lot of cement and rocks and everything everywhere. And for some reason, a lot of people are leaving shopping carts downtown. So the added weight, that's all that's going into the litter. So that's the only thing that'll be high. The hospitality number says down, but that comes from a couple of ambassadors lost the telephones, the smartphones that we use to input the data. So we lost some numbers on that. But other than that, everything's going well. At the next meeting, I plan on having a more detailed report for the whole year and a comparison of the years of everything from the time we started up until now.
Well, the pictures are quite disturbing, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, with the Trump ones. Yeah, on the wall of the county clerk's offices, all of that stuff that came up. Most of the people that on the outreach highlights, most of those are usually in the mornings I walk through to kind of like do a welfare check on some of the people that I know that hang out in the mornings. And those are just some of the pictures of some of the people that I find in the mornings on some of the properties out here. Some pictures I didn't include because of some other reasons. But it's getting colder now and not so many are out. At the pavilion, they just sheltered half of the pavilion this year so far. Right now, there's only one guy that's been hanging out in there, that's Damien, and other than that, as of yet, well, it really hasn't gotten cold until it's gonna be cold, real cold this coming week. I expect to see less people out opening into it. But in the garages, we're checking a little more in the garages and everything for sure. We even ran into that this morning in the transit. So cold weather's gonna bring some different things, but we'll do our best to keep up with it.
So David, when you find people like these that are pictured here, and you go up and speak to them, you said they usually they refuse offers of help. So what do? They just stay there and?
They'll pack up and leave once we come there, but we always offer them, we get cards and everything from the Office of Homeless Prevention. We'll offer those to them, offer to help them make phone calls. Majority of them know more information than we do about resources.
Yeah.
But they just won't use them. There are too many rules at the centers where they can go and everything, so they just won't use them until it gets really, really cold. And sometimes we'll speak with the police where they'll force someone in somewhere. If the weather gets too bad, they'll forcefully, take them somewhere to get them off the street. And when it gets a certain temperature, everywhere you can go in any center then, regardless of, what you're doing. But like I said, we offer them all the resources, tell them where to go. In our building, in our office, I've even posted in the window how they can get housing and everything. Just won't use it. Some of them are just more comfortable being outside.
But if you go up and speak to them, is that enough kind of nudging that they'll gather up their things and move on, or do they know that you can't force them to leave?
After a few years of doing it, most of them know me now. And when I kind of wake them up, they already know it's time to leave. And it's always the same ones. Rarely do we get a lot of new ones that'll come in with that problem. So most of them I know, and they kind of like be looking for a wake-up call from me. That's how I've gotten it. So I haven't had anyone who would curse me out for waking them up or anything like that. So like I said, there's no problem. I usually wake them up, they'll get right up and leave. Just like with Mike over at Subway, the guy at the Subway at Main and MLK in the mornings, he used to be out there. I've tried to get the manager in Subway and the manager in the building that Subway is in to even call me in the mornings. They'll let them stay out there as opposed to asking someone to get them up. So I've asked them to call me if they have a problem with getting them up. There's where else was it? It's a building on High and Upper. I think web companies own that building. and been having a problem with a lot of guys, people sleeping down inside there. Since we've been coming around more and cleaning it up, now they see that someone's coming on a daily to clean it up and make sure it's all right. So they're not being down there as much as they were. It's the same with a building that's on High Street, right there at Limestone and High. It's some type of, I think it's some type of recovery place. BRC, I believe it is. And people were sleeping on the porch there. And I've called the property owners and spoke with them about all the liquor bottles and cans and everything that's in the bushes and in the yard or there. I cleaned their porch off for them. So they haven't been back there, but they're yet to come and clean up the bushes, the landscape, and the shrubs there. You got beer cans and bottles and everything. I was gonna do it, but then I was like, should I do it? So, what do y'all guys think?
Is our district on both sides of High Street? Does anybody remember? I thought it was
It's not both sides, but that side looks so bad sometimes that it.
I understand. Because I don't think that Billy, from what I think you're talking about, is in our district, is it?
That side, the south side of High Street is not really in it.
Yeah.
So there's kind of two ways to look at this. You can take a look at it as a hard line of, hey, don't go across the center line. But block by block across the country is, if you see something and it's gonna affect people's perception of your district, you just gotta take care of it. And so if there's bottles on one side of the street and it looks like crap, what we would say is, David, take care of it, because we can't have this looking bad.
So what we do.
Jim, I have a question, because I understand that and I actually don't disagree with it. I think it would never pass an audit test if resources were being spent.
I think
But
our
my
ordinance
question to
is-
you is, and I'm put on your legal hat, if David goes across that line, that imaginary line, and gets hurt or anything like that, do the insurance policies or anything else cover him?
It might be
Because
a-
he's out of district?
He's out of our district, yeah, that's a great question.
He's covered by his company's.
Regardless where he goes?
Yeah.
So if he goes up to the other side of town and does something happens, he's still
He's
covered?
he's working for block by block, not for us directly.
But can we check, I mean, I'm not disputing, can we double check?
It would
that
be
with
worth
more
looking at
comfortable?
that insurance. I will say also that the Webbs is a bad example because they pay tons of money within the district, but if you got people across the street, the view shed, I agree, but those folks aren't paying for those services. There's other people
I
are.
park there. I call Nick all the time.
Yeah.
for that.
Because I do see Terry's point, and I agree with
Yeah.
it, because if it's an eye shot, the general public doesn't see that line.
Mhm.
But to me, a liability issue.
I'll check on the insurance.
So
It's a good
as of right now, should I leave it as it is?
Well, one of the things you could do while we're doing the renewal is, it's adjacent to the district. They could always sign a petition and be subjected to it, pay the levy for it if they wanted to.
Well, I think you'd have to redraw the boundaries before we just start willy-nilly bringing ad hoc people. I think that it's a conundrum. I know, what do y'all think? I mean, if he sees it, should he go deal with it? I mean, but at what point do you stop it? Go across there without see something else? At what point do you
Well,
say?
no, that's a cutoff.
Cut off, just
For me,
the
that's
view
a
shed
cutoff.
from our current DMZ line.
And
Okay.
it's not that we go over there every day to clean up. It's as if like, if we see a bunch of bottles or, obvious trash that you'll see as you're driving west on High Street. And you will see this side is clean and then that side will take everything away from the clean side. So maybe occasionally I have them do both sides. Like with the leaves, if the leaves pile up, we occasionally do both sides of the street, but it's not something we do every day, not that side.
Do we know who owns the building? Have you been in touch with who owns the building yet?
I called the number that they had and got an answer. I'm gonna call them back again to see if I can get them to come over there and take care of it.
Can I make a suggestion? I think David needs to do for a while what he's comfortable with if we get clarification that.
On liability?
On liability.
All right.
But I do think this is a topic we need to have more discussion about and how we want to handle that, because to your point, at that juncture, you are providing services to people outside.
Which the ordinance does not provide us to do. We're not allowed to spend money outside
So
that.
I think it probably needs a broader discussion, but the liability is the more pressing.
Okay.
Use
Clear
your
as
common
mud.
sense. Use your common sense.
Yeah. Just common
You got
sense.
plenty of that, I know.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Any other questions for David?
I don't know if everybody saw the back picture, but if you didn't see the news story that we sent out over the summer, there's a really cool thing with Marvin, who came across a gentleman who was about to jump from a parking garage and talked to him, and eventually got him back up off the garage, and he received, that's the police awards banquet where he received the public service. So if you missed that story, say, good job, Marvin, you can see it on the street.
Marvin this morning, right here on the front of the street. Like, now,
Thanks. Next meeting, do we want to meet in December, or do you think, the only reason we talked about it was to have an update with petition renewal? I truly believe we're going to have this thing in the bag by December 1 if we keep this pace up. Or do you want to wait and do it in January? What's y'all's preference?
Well, as the vice mayor said, the council doesn't come back till mid-January. We would typically meet, if we did the same, I don't know what the schedule is for next year. Do we have a schedule for
I
next year?
think we're every other month. is what we're talking
Have we
about.
adopted that schedule?
Yeah, we adopted it, but we made changes based upon the petition.
But have we adopted it, because this is a public body, it has to be adopted on an annual basis. But, it does. I think if we do the same meeting schedule, we'll have the meeting before council gets back and do both.
So we're saying January, is that what we're saying? Okay.
Unless everybody wants to meet in December.
No, I don't think anybody wants to do December. Can someone check the minutes? I thought we had done this, made this schedule and adopted it, but let's make sure we have. But
Yeah,
for
no,
now,
we
we're
did.
going to meet the first Wednesday in January, which is, let's look at it, make sure it's not some date that's, that's obviously January 1, we're not going to meet then. So, January 8th.
January 8th.
January 8th would be our next meeting date. 2020. I know. Anything else? Do you want to talk about this holiday promotion? Anything there, or is it just, it was in our packet?
Yeah, just that we're doing the Shop and Celebrate program. We launched it last year, had over 30 participants, most of them located in the district. And essentially, it's a way for us to package what there is to do in the downtown during the holidays, and functions as a customer reward program, so that if a customer spends $25 or more at a participating business, they can text their receipt to 474747, and they get entered to win one of 4 weekly New Year's Eve packages from our downtown hotels. So it's a really easy way for us to, again, create the messaging, push it out, and then reward customers. And so hopefully that helps our downtown businesses. Lisa was a big participant last year and saw some benefits from it.
That was great.
Yeah, so.
Anything else, anybody? We're adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.